Well, it's another wonderful day. This needs a little bit of work, I think. If you're not really tired of me doing the same thing over and over, go ahead and watch me. So what we have here is a Chinese elm. So basically, I'm going to be cutting these long ones off. And there is a few things that I wanted to show you up close today. Do you see this discoloration? Well, it looks like it's a burn. Well, that's what it is. What happened was the last time I trimmed, it got hot right away. And so it did burn part of it. But Chinese elms are tough. You just flick those off and then go back to the job at hand. So yeah, I saw that and I thought I'll share that information with you. No need to panic, but to be able to understand so you don't have to worry. I was thinking maybe what I should do is time-lapse photography. Well, I don't know how it's done. Well, I kind of know how it's done, but I don't know if it'll fit into my schedule. So it's kind of a same old, same old. So I just keep doing this. Now, this is nothing but maintenance. Nothing to do with restyling or changing at this point. Actually, styling is so much easier during the dormant season when you could actually see the structure. So throughout these months that's nice and warm, well, we're just going to try to keep it more or less in check. Now, if this was going to be in a show or something like that, it should never get to this point. It should be trimmed probably like every other day so that you don't have any of these major cuts. Well, with the pandemic, almost everything, all the shows and everything that usually happens, it's all canceled. But you know, the good thing is, in terms of business, mine's been pretty good. Almost as soon as the lockdown was eased a little bit, people started to come in. Now, we're not talking Walmart, so we're not looking at thousands of people. When I see like 6 or 7 on a day, to me, that's a busy day. My business. The other day, or actually early this week, but I got a text message from one of my great customers from Chico, and they wanted to come by. So of course they could come by. I wasn't going anywhere, and that's kind of what I do. Well, it turns out to be his birthday, so he got a nice bonsai, and his wife is now getting involved, and there's something that she wanted, and I think they're going to be back. I don't know when her birthday is, but she says she's coming back. So the first month, we were trying to find how we can do this. Was a little stressful, but hey, you know, you do what you got to do. And I think we're going to be okay. Well, at least my business here and my students, we're playing it very safe. Well, we have to. You know why? Because we're a bunch of old people. Even when my kids came to visit, they got themselves tested. And I'm thinking, wow. Unfortunately, the tests the results didn't come for a full 5 days. So we were exposed to our grandkids and my kids, but always good. Well, you can start to see that this has a nice shape. Well, a lot of my stuff has really good shape. It's just good. Well, you know, when this lockdown started, well, my wife and I, we had nothing better to do. She was pulling the weeds, and I started trimming and videotaping. So I said, wow, my nursery is looking really good. Then it got hot. We started our vegetable garden and things like that, and all of a sudden, everything's out of control again. But, you know, at times like this, we should be, at times like this, I think we should all be thankful. I sure am. Well, my daughter lives in a big house with 2 kids, so not as bad. My son, with the newborn, lives in San Francisco in a tiny, tiny place. So, kind of bad. They are looking for a house now, but it's really difficult to go look at a house with a newborn and all this thing going on. So, they're trying to see what would happen. But anyway, I am definitely thankful for where I am currently in my business. I'm hoping that one of these days we could get back to our church renovation project. You know, the renovation is one part, but the other part was the camaraderie. In Buddhism, they call it Sangha, or your members. And we were getting a really good core of people enjoying the process. It would have been a lot faster if we just brought in a crew and just did the work. But it's also much like the bonsai. It's not always about finishing, but the process itself. And so that's kind of what I miss, not being able to work over there. And I'm sure the other people are feeling just as bad. Well, it's coming together, isn't it? More or less done. Now, one of the things I'm not trying to do is to create showcase or masterpieces. I want to be able to produce materials that are good so somebody else could do the finished work. Therefore, I make sure that there's a good roof flare and movement and taper. But after that, all the fine detailing, I'm not that concerned, in that whoever purchases this could make it their own. And a lot of the work that I have ready for sale has extra branches. And that's part of my goal, is to have materials for whoever is purchasing to make that final decision. So I think we have somewhere before we have discussed the concept of personal style. And so the finish will be reflected upon the artist. But the basic of roof flare, the taper, and the movement, to me, is absolutely necessary. So those of you watching and thinking, oh gosh, Hiro, it sure is sloppy, forget the little fine details and look at the 3 core things that I strive for. So once again, the taper, movement, and root flare. And you'll see that most of everything I do have all those. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my little working here and my rambling about this and that. So anyway, this is Hero saying goodbye. I'll see you again in another chapter real soon. Stay safe, everybody.